And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second round of Swiss, game number 1. Once more coverage brought to you from netrunners.co.uk of the Worcester Manor League store tournament held in July. That's the 12th of July 2014. Myself there on my left, once more playing Jinteki, Replicating Perfection, and Jimmy from Worcester on the right playing Gabe. So, again, I was quite happy with how round 1 went. I was obviously up on 4 prestige, which is a nice little start. Always happy as well to be able to avoid Dave Hoyland in the second round, as often is the case. We had some very competitive players there, actually. I mean, we had Neil down from Birmingham. You may remember him from the coverage of the Kronos Tour in Stoke. He went on to actually win that event. And I had a game against him, and it was incredibly competitive. So, it was a tough field, I have to say, over the course of the day. And I think I may have mulliganed this hand, but I'm not sure. I'm going to ice, install. I think that's a Caprice there in the base of HQ, root of HQ. I think I've got a couple of agendas in hand. Looks like I've got an Eli there in hand, debating whether to put it on R&D or not, or to save it for a remote. Looks like I'm going to save it, take a credit. He will dirty laundry R&D. And he will access an Enigma by the looks of it, but get his money. I'm playing against Gabe, so I'm obviously prioritising HQ over R&D. So hence the reason why the Caprice is there. He's going to sneak door. Third click, probably not the best play to use it third click. I would probably prefer to play that the second turn as opposed to the first turn. Obviously, because he successfully runs with a sneak door, he can trash the Caprice. It doesn't go off, only goes off against HQ. So he'll pay 1 to trash, and he will access a Sunju, which he'll trash for 2 credits, and then pass the turn. So obviously, the sneak door there is a big issue. I've lost the Caprice off of HQ. Looks like I've got a Nisei Mark II in hand. I'm drawing up and seeing, I think, a Philotic Entanglement. I'm going to draw again and see an Inazuma, which isn't going to help me any, and I'm going to put the Enigma there over Archives, having to leave R&D open for the time being. And turn 1 sneak door, not ideal. He's going to draw first click and second click. Looks like he's got an indexing, and that's exactly what he's going to play. So he really has come up with all the punishing cards there. And he's going to see the top 5 cards. And this is not going well. This is a bad start for me. A great start for Jimmy. Seeing exactly the cards he needed to punish at any given moment. Looks like there's an Ash on top. A Caprice, a Jackson Howard. No agendas, it looks like. So he's rocking a hard play situation. It also gives me the comfort of knowing I've got a bit of time before I have to secure R&D. He's going to run and trash Jackson Howard, and then pass the turn back over to me. So I know I've got at least 3 more turns before I have to worry about protecting R&D. So what I'm going to do is play a Celebrity Gift and show him my hand. I've got 2 Elis and Inazuma and an Ash. So again, feeling good. All I need is the economy. Him trashing that Sunju early doors was a bit of a pain in the backside. Would have been nice to have put that Sunju behind an Eli on a remote. I am going to install an Eli there on R&D because I've got 2, so I guess there's no harm in it. But it was probably for the best, because I think he probably would have gone in and trashed the Caprice on top there anyway, and I would have much rather seen that in hand. He's going to play an Armitage Code Busting. First click. Second click is going to draw, and I think he saw another one there in hand. And he's going to take some money off Armitage and pass the turn. I'll do my mandatory draw and see the Caprice. I'm going to draw again and see a Kumainu, I believe. I'm going to put the Eli there on the remote, and now I've got to choose. I'm going to, sorry, so yeah, did I draw it once? I think I drew it once and installed twice. And it looks like the Ash has gone into the remote. I'm going to pass the turn. He's got an emergency shutdown in hand. He's going to try and sneak door, at which point he will lose his second click as well after hitting the Enigma. And I just need to try and keep him out here. He's going to draw and short gamble. Lots and lots of money. Good start for him. And now he has to find his breakers and deal with the ice that's there. I'm going to install a Caprice Nisei. I'm going to advance it once, and I'm going to put a Caprice in there as well, and pass the turn over to him. So score that early doors Nisei. He's got a lot of money though. I'm not sure, this may have been a little bit foolish. I think I probably was a little bit over-enthusiastic here. He's going to run HQ, see nothing, but get a bit of cash for it in the process. I'm not resing the ice. No agendas in there at the moment. I think there's no trashables either. They're all in the remote. He is going to run the remote, and he's going to hit an Eli. At the same time as him approaching that server, I will res the Caprice Nisei. So he will click through the Eli, and all I've got to do here now is win the Psy game, and I can score out the Caprice. Sorry, the Nisei, assuming I don't spend 2 credits, and we'll see what happens. We both play 1, so he succeeds, and at that point I may as well res the Ash and make him pay for it. Because unfortunately I know he's going to steal that agenda. He did exactly the right thing. You know, again, he ran on the central, he clicked through the Eli, and unfortunately my Caprice wasn't good enough. So he's going to run in and spend 4 to trash the Ash and the Caprice. He's going to score the Nisei Mark II, and that's a problem. I'm now on 1 credit. My centrals are vulnerable, and I've got issues here. So I'm going to install what looks like another Ash and take 2 credits, pass the turn, and try and get my head above water. But again, I'm not sure what's actually on HQ. I think it may be a Komainu. Looks like he's got a Siphon in hand, which I suspect he will start to use quite aggressively here. And though I've taxed him stealing that Nisei, probably not enough to make a difference. He's going to run R&D. I will res the Eli for 3, taking me back to 0 credits. And he can opt to click, which he will, and he'll access and see a snare, which I can't trigger because I have no money. He was on 3 cards anyway, it wasn't a big deal. And he will then run... Oh, sorry, he won't. I'll then res at the end of his turn a Mental Health Clinic, taking 1 credit. Mental Health Clinic, amazing card in RP, absolutely fantastic, especially with cards like Komainu Infection. Really, really strong. And I'm just going to take 3 credits and pass the turn. And again, I'm almost certain that there's either Tsurugi or a Komainu there on HQ, and this is just going to go and prove it, because I'm not going to res this piece of ice on HQ. Let's see if I can... No, can't see what that is. So I'm going to lose 4 credits, and he's going to gain 8, take 2 tags after the successful account siphon. And obviously he'll gain his 2 credits for Gabe's ability as well. So quickly here, going to lose the economic battle, I would suggest. But I'm quite happy to have that Mental Health Clinic. And he's going to draw past the turn. I get 1 for Mental Health Clinic. Surprised he didn't go in there and try and trash it, but I guess it would have cost him his whole turn, but probably still worthwhile to leave me on 0 credits. And I'm going to take 3 and pass the turn again. At which point he will play a same old thing for 1 click. He will use the same old thing and play an account siphon. I will lose 4. He'll gain 8 and take 2 more tags. I think he cleared the tags. I think that's what he's doing there. I gain 1 for Mental Health Clinic. He should still have 1 tag left. I think that's what the white die indicates on his ID at the moment. So he's got 1 tag, as well as a heck of a lot of money. I'm going to install and probably take 2 here. I'm not sure if that's another Mental Health Clinic or not, but I've got to try and get ahead here. He's going to planned attack, first 2 clicks, and you'll never guess what for, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, account siphon number 3. Yay. Account siphons, they're a joy. I mean, to be fair, he's not really gaining a huge amount of tempo on me here. He's not scoring any agendas. I haven't got any in hand. He's not really making anything particularly vulnerable. He's just forcing me to slow down while he's gaining a heck of a lot of money, but he still doesn't have any breakers out on the board. He will run that remote and see a Jackson Howard. I'm debating whether to let him trash it or trigger it. And I'm going to let him trash for 3. Probably should have triggered it, to be honest, given that, again, money is not the issue here. And he's going to pass the turn, still tagged. Could trash that Armitage if I ever get any money, which is unlikely. I think I've got a Celebrity Gift and a hedge fund there in hand, so I just need to get up to 5, and I am laughing. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a struggle. I'm going to just discard and take 3, and run on the premise that surely there cannot be any more account siphons at this stage. He will draw and see another planned assault. Woo! So he'll click, and you'll never guess what he'll go and find, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there it is, account siphon number 4. 4 turns in a row of account siphons. Isn't criminal fun? So once again, he gains 8, plus 2 from Gabe's ability, taking him to 10, and another 2 tags. Oh, for a bit of tag punishment right about now. Oh, Scorched Earth sure would be sweet. Sure would be sweet. And he is going to also run HQ, and see nothing. I don't think there's any agendas there in hand, so whatever. I'm going to get one from Mental Health Clinic, I'm going to take another 3, and I'm going to then discard a card. And the only way he can siphon me now at this stage is with the same old thing. And that's fine. He's going to run HQ, see nothing. Again, I'm not sure if I drew up an agenda last turn, but I don't think so. He's going to emergency shut down an Eli, I'm guessing. The remote Eli, which makes sense. He's going to run there. I will res it for 3 because I need that money one way or the other. And he'll bounce out. And he will draw. So he's keeping me skint, that's fine. But the Mental Health Clinic's worth it. It's like resing the Eli for 2 effectively. And although it still doesn't quite get me to the place I need, it's not too bad. I'll gain 1, I'll Celebrity Gift, and I'll show him 5. Again, no agendas there in hand, a Kumainu, Inazuma, Caprice, Tsurugi, and Hedge Fund. And that's the end of my turn. A Celebrity Gift is a double, but I am now out of an economic pit. All 3 of his Viscount Siphons are in the bin, and the only thing he can do now is same old thing me to get those siphons out. He just draw special order there, which he's going to play. And he's going to go and find a card of some description. Kuroda, obviously dealing with the Elis, but he's got plenty of money, so you know, paying 4 to get through an Eli isn't exactly going to tax him to death here. And I think he's going to install it there for 2 as well, which is fine. He's also going to run R&D, see another hedge fund. So economically, I'm feeling pretty positive here, getting another credit for Mental Health Clinic, and although he's got the Kuroda out at this stage, it's fine. I'm going to hedge fund first click, gaining another one. I'm going to hedge fund second click, and now we could both play an economic game of sorts. I realise, yep, absolutely, I need to ice up R&D here and stop any casual accesses. I've got no agendas in hand, so I'm happy. He's going to play a fairy first click. Second click, I think he's going to run HQ, at which point I will res a Tsurugi for 6, and I am going to give him a chance to break, which he will with a fairy, and he will go through an access. That's fine. Soaking up a fairy on an HQ access that's going to do, not going to do a great deal, I am quite happy for. Just needed to get the fairy off the board, and he sees a Caprice Nisei, which he will obviously trash for 1. And he's going to draw, seeing a Plascrete and something else, and I will do my mandatory draw. And it looks like I've got a Sundew there in hand, so tempted to set up the remote for the Sundew, give me some really good asset-based economy. I'm going to draw for my first click, lots and lots of ice. I'm going to ice up R&D again. I haven't seen any agendas, so they're all there, and I'm wary of another indexing, same old thing indexing, anything of that kind. Need to try and keep him out. I'm also going to install another piece of ice there on a remote and get ready to set up a Sundew. And I'm still sat on 11 credits, so that's not too shabby. He's going to drop quite aggressively. Looks like he's got another planned assault there, and he's going to sure gamble as well, which he plays. I get 1 for Mental Health Clinic, taking me up to 12. And I can afford to play the waiting game here. Bear in mind, he's only on 2 points, so it's not too bad. I'm seeing all my ice now, that's for sure. I'm going to set up another remote. I'm going to install into that remote, and I'm going to pass the turn. And I'm going to shuffle all my cards down so you can actually, you know, see my remote servers. The RP shell game, as it were. RP's fantastic. It's a great deck. I'm going to res the Sundew before his turn begins. Obviously paying 2 and gain 2 back immediately, so I didn't bother changing up any money. And he will draw first click. At which point, obviously, I would gain the 2 credits. He's going to draw second click, seeing a legwork, which is probably what he wants there, have to be said. He's going to try and make his HQ count. But I'm quite happy now with my economic setup. Mental Health Clinic and Sundew on the board, 3 recurring credits every turn. Happy days. He's going to draw up. He's looking for something, whether it be he's got a special order there, so that's exactly what he's looking for. And he's going to discard a whole bunch of cards. Look for Data Sucker there, and looks like he's going to get rid of I'm guessing a Dirty Laundry, which he most certainly doesn't need. A whole bunch of cards he's getting rid of there, in fact. And I'm going to have a quick look-see through and see what he's got and what he hasn't got. Try and count his influence out, make sure there's not too many surprises. Make sure all the siphons have gone, which they have. And draw. And see a Nisei. So, now that Nisei's in hand, need to score it. Need to score that blasted Nisei, so I will ice up the remote. I'm debating here whether to install and advance, which I think I'm going to. I'm going to take the risk. And again, it's a bit of a calculated risk, but I've got a measure of inside job protection there. I'm still gaining credits from the Sundew, not just taking extra clicks. I say with the Sundew and a Mental Health Clinic down, I can score out very cheaply. Again, gaining 3 credits. It's like I haven't even scored the agenda in the first place, but he's going to play a special order first click and look for either a Yogg or a Mimic, indeed, and there it is. So he is now hoping he can break through that remote server, but he has to hit a central first. It's going to be interesting to see which one he does hit first here. Whether he goes through on HQ, I think is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to hit HQ, break the Tsurugi, access and see an Itchy, which is going to be pretty nice to install at this stage now that the Mimic's out on the board. Got to make him worried as well, I suspect. Is he going to go on a run on that remote server last click? He's not. He's going to actually emergency shut down the Tsurugi, which point I gain a credit from Mental Health Clinic, and I will score out that Nisei Mark II with Wild, Glee and Abandon, gaining myself a token, and hopefully guaranteeing another score. Pretty much guaranteed, I would suggest. Obviously I gain another 2 from Sundew. So still sat pretty on 13 credits. No idea what Jimmy's on, but I would suggest it's a fair old amount. He's going to run HQ and try and make me res that Tsurugi. I'm not too bothered. There's nothing in hand for me to worry about. He's going to gain the money. He's way ahead on me economically anyway, so I don't really care. If he wants to go in and start trashing those assets, he's welcome to do so. Now I've got my Nisei Mark II scored. I'm in a happy place. And this is the key with the Jinteki deck. It does start slow. It wants to build up monster servers. It wants to get that Nisei scored as a matter of urgency, as a matter of course. And if it can do that, it can win out the game. And certainly Jimmy here, I think, is probably making a mistake in not going in to trash the Sundew and the Mental Health Clinic, especially given the financial position he's in. I mean, goodness me, he's even got an Armitage still left with 6 on it. So I'm surprised to not see him try and trash more aggressively, not leave me any remotes. And now he's got a 3 remote server to deal with, and 3 ice remote. And that is going to be challenging. He still hasn't got a Kogate Breaker, so he can't make full use of the of anything. I'm going to play an Inazuma, and it just is the pain about to hit. So I can either res that middle piece of ice and do some damage to him. I'm not sure if that's the Kamainu, or even maybe an Itchy. I'm not sure. If it's the Itchy, that's really going to suck. Or do I just let him end the run? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to res whatever's there, so he encounters the Eli, cannot break it. It must not be an Itchy. If it was an Itchy, I think I would have resed it, and I would have trashed this Mimic and Corroder quite happily. He will hit the remote. And deciding here what I'm going to res. I'm pretty sure there's an Inazuma on top there as well. I'm not sure if I need it, and I'm just deciding here how much money I actually need to spend in order to keep him out, or whether it's even worthwhile keeping him out. I don't think there's an agenda in there. Could be a Brain Trust or a Philotic Entanglement. I've got one of each in the deck. It's really just a kind of... So I'm not going to... There's an Inazuma there in the middle, which I will pay 3 for, and I will res a Tsurugi for 6, and I'm deciding here whether to pay the 1 credit and trash 3 cards, or whether to just end the run. And I think I'm going to just end the run and not pay the 1. He will run on the Sundew server, and he will trash that for 2. Again, just limiting my economy ever so slightly. It makes good sense. And he's also going to run On the Eli, pay 4 and trash Mental Health Clinic for another 3, so 7 total. And I think, you know, if he'd done that a little bit earlier, this game might have been a little bit different. And you know, it's a difficult position for him to be in now. A difficult position for me to be in, to be fair. I'm going to draw. I don't think that's an agenda there in that remote. But if it is, it's fairly safe now anyway. He has to get a Data Sucker down and a Yogg potentially, which is what you expect in a criminal deck. Probably Knight would be pretty sweet if he has Sir Gabe. I'm going to take some money past the turn. But I haven't seen any Knights, I don't think, in his deck. Generally you don't run Knights and Data Sucker, so presumably he has the Anarch Breaker suite, running a kind of Andy deck in Gabe, so to speak. He will run HQ, and I don't think I'm going to res anything. Quite happy for him to access. I don't think there's any agendas there in hand. Just waiting to see them draw up, really. He's going to draw. Play a Fairy. Obviously he has to trash the Sneak Door to make memory room, and he's going to draw again. So, so far so good. Again, my economic position now is shaky, but at the very least, he's got the Desperado now in hand, which he's probably been looking for a while. Again, I actually have taxed him quite effectively here, even though he's got that Armitage left on the board. His financial position is a lot less secure than it was after all those account siphons. It's amazing how quickly this can catch up. Looks like I've got a Celebrity Gift in hand there, and I definitely have a Nisei Mark II in hand now as well as an Ash. And I'm going to draw again. And I'm not sure what I saw there, but got to be wary here of the legwork. And if I've got 2 agendas in hand, suddenly this game becomes a whole different affair. I'm going to take some money. I think taking me to 4 credits. He will same old thing. Something. I'm not sure if he... It would have been 3 clicks, wouldn't he? Install same old thing. I'm guessing Siphon. Was it Siphon? Oh, crumbs, I don't know what he's done there. Whether he discarded it or not. He's going to legwork though, so that is what I was concerned about. I'm not sure if he siphoned me there. I think he may have. Almost, my credits is ever so slightly off screen. So I think he siphoned me, but I think he spent 1 click too few. He's going to score that Nisei and probably trash the Ash, and then see a Kumainu. So he scored my other Nisei. That's right, sorry, he account siphoned me. I used the Nisei token to end his run, and then he legworked. So it was a good play on Jimmy's part. I suspect he was just using the account siphon as bait, because the legwork was probably more dangerous to me, and I probably would have preferred, in retrospect, to end his legwork run as opposed to his account siphon run. Looks like I've got a Future Perfect in hand now, so suddenly the agendas are really racking up in hand. And that's not what you want against Gabe, undeniably. And I've got to hope he's not running too many legworks in the deck. He's drawing up, sees another Sneak Door, as well as some economy. He's trashing the Sneak Door, so he's not rating that, which is a surprise. If he has a Yogg, suddenly Sneak Door becomes a really potent card again. I guess he's running on memory issues at the moment. He's got 3 out without a Desperado, but he has seen a Desperado, so looks like I've got another Mental Health Clinic in hand there. I just drew up a Philotic Entanglement, which I'm going to I think I may have installed it there into the remote. Possibly. I think it's a bluff. Pretty sure it's... Oh no, the Philotic's still in hand, sorry. So I've got the Snare, and I'm going to take a credit. Not sure what I've resed there, what I've installed. Might be another Mental Health Clinic. And I'm not sure... Okay, I think he may have run some... I think he ran R&D, and then ran the remote, click through, possibly. Not sure why. I guess he's running a little bit low on funds now, so he doesn't really want to use the credits for trashing them. And now I've got a lot of agendas now. I think I've got 7 points of agendas there. A legwork at this stage would be catastrophic game ending, I suspect. And things are looking a little bit dicey with the Nisei token used. I'm not in a position to be able to score. I finally got my economic position back up to scratch and back up to 10 credits at least. And R&D is fairly safe. I'm going to Celebrity Gift, which I suspect I really don't want to do, but I will, and I will show that 7-point agenda hand, and as well as a Kumainu and a Snare. The only reason I'm doing that is just to get myself ahead on the economy situation. And I'm going to put another piece of ice there on HQ, which he must know is the Komainu, which he has, the ferry there to break. Well, he may not need to because he's got the Mimic out. Well, that's a tempting hand, a very tempting hand. He only needs to score another 3 points. If he scores that future perfect, that's a good game. So he's sat on 5 cards. He's going to take some money off of Armitage, and he's going to run HQ. So, okay, let's see what happens. I'm going to play a Komainu. I'll res that for 5. And he's deciding here whether he's going to pay to get through it with his Mimic, or take some net damage. Oh, wow. Okay, he's taking the net damage. This came as a big shock to me and surprise in the game, predominantly because he saw the snare. I'm surprised, really surprised, that he did that, given that I showed him the snare the turn before, and I guess he thinks that odds are he's still going to be able to access the agenda. But I'm sure as hell going to make sure I'm in a position to have 4 credits left after this run. I'm going to res an Itchy, and he will have to break that with a ferry. I'm running here on the premise that he sees 1 agenda and potentially goes through. I won't res. He's going to roll the dice, see card number 1, and card number 1 is a snare, which I'll trigger. And once again, snare comes in to save the day. I felt in a good position there. I felt like I was going to get ahead of him from a taxation point of view. He wasn't going to get into HQ again, I don't think, with that Itchy there. But still, all the same, that was, snare's great. I'm not dropping snares out of my RP deck in a hurry. They do good work and they win games. So once more, thank you, Snare, I salute you, and I hope you guys will join us for Game 2 of Round 2, coming to you shortly.